We've been given such a powerful and rich legacy by those who have come before us, who have chosen the path of nonviolent resistance and given us tools and techniques to use as we move forward now in our own movement. And so we've created a guideline, a decision tree for people to use in assessing exactly where you stand, how you can engage with various events. Um, and it's different for everyone, and it ranges from people who are very ready and in a position to be at every protest, possibly get arrested, to people who can't afford to do that at all, either through health limitations or caregiving limitations. And so one of our main messages tonight is that we need everyone in this movement, but we recognize that everyone needs to assess the best way that they can contribute and that we value every contribution. And as we've always said at Kent Street, it is the shared resoluteness in our hearts that fundamentally is the core of the work we do. We're trying to recognize that we have moved into a new phase, though, you know, where in the past perhaps you could go and get arrested protesting Kavanaugh's appointment, expect to get released on a bond and walk away and pay your fine and you're done. It doesn't seem like we're living in that world anymore. And so we just want to really give people tools to stay safe, have situational awareness, not only at the event itself, but situational awareness in terms of how to engage and contribute to this fight that we're in to protect our democracy and to defend against authoritarianism. So, when you're thinking about whether and how to engage in a protest, the first thing is to ask yourself what you know about the event. Do you know if there's a commitment to nonviolence? Do you know who's organizing the event? What time of the day it's happening? Very importantly, what are the goals and messages of the event itself? That way you can ask yourself how aligned you are with those goals, because that will inform how much risk you may or may not be willing to take in terms of staying put if some counter protesters show up, or um, it will inform the level of engagement that you want to have. Um, some of them will be permitted, some of them will not. The larger events, and Bill can speak more to this, a lot of the larger events will have either peacekeepers or some events will have other types of trained de-escalators there. Of course, in New Hampshire, with our open carry law protections, the 2A protections, um, anyone can show up with weapons, but it's a good sign when the organizers themselves are committed them to nonviolence and to a no weapons policy. And so the more important piece, I think, of this decision document that we shared is doing your own personal assessment. And we've laid out a number of questions for you to consider um, ahead of time that inform whether you want to participate in the event, how you want to participate. We encourage you ahead of time to make a safety plan, to go not alone, but in some kind of pairs or group, and to be have good communication with your partners. Don't just leave an event without telling someone who you came with that you're just leaving, for example. Um, but as you look at the decision tree and do the self-assessment of what personal factors should I consider, those will inform not only, as I said, whether you want to go to the event. Those will also inform what happens for you at the event. Um, keeping situational awareness, not just physically, but emotionally and in terms of your life circumstances. So if you are really committed to certain things, you may have a higher threshold for deciding that you're going to stay, even when, counter protesters or if police show up, um, than if you don't have a strong commitment. I imagine, but you also, there are things to consider, like, do I have kids to care for? Do I have a job that, this could negatively impact if I were arrested? Because as Arnie Alpert always says, once the police show up, you can't 100% guarantee that you're not going to get arrested. So you may choose, if you see the police kind of showing up in an aggressive way, you may choose to just get out of there if you've got a young child at home that you know you have to care for. If you're less concerned about that, then you may stay put and stand your ground a little bit more.